Well, good morning, everybody. Oh, let's turn the volume up. There we go. There we go. Well, good morning again. I'm Jan Erickson from Stepping Aside, and welcome to another edition of Somewhat Daily Tarot and Rune for a Gateway Energy Day, 2/20/2020. It's a little bit different when I say it the 20th or February 20th, 2020. But when it's 2/20/2020, well, in fact, I'm going to set the cards down and we're going to talk about astrology here for a little bit, as usual. Where is a pen? But I want to show you something about this. We have an energetic gateway today, and it's cosmic builder energy because it's the 22. That's the master number. It's the most powerful number in numerology. So we have a 2, 20, 20, 20. Okay? That breaks down to, it reduces down individually to 2, 2, 22. Normally, if 22 weren't a master number, you would reduce that to 4, and then you would add the other two together, and you'd have 4, and you'd have 4 and 4, right? If you did that, you'd have an 8, and that would be, higher self leadership type of awareness, But here, we aren't going to do that. But if you were to combine these two together, you have a double 22. If you didn't and you just simply added those two together, you'd have a 4 and a 22. So again, re-emphasizing or solidifying the notion, well, solidifying the notion of recreating the structure, the foundation that we all exist in. And because it's the 22, right there, it's going to be more soul-based. It's going to be soul saying, okay, you guys have messed around long enough. Get out of my way. I'm going to do it myself. So anyhow, yeah, that's a gateway today. Anytime you see numbers like that, if you see like we know the Lionsgate one in August, 888, that's interesting. Or usually anymore, it's just an 8-8 until you get another 8 energy for the year. But in 2018, we had an 11-11-11 gateway on November 11th because 2018 was an 11 year. So you had the master number for illumination on that day. We all woke up that day apparently. So anyhow, you can see how, especially if you look back, you can see how the effect of that energy, what the effect of that was on that particular experience or year or time period or whatever. But now we have just a really energetic day. It's a Thursday, so we've got Jupiter influencing, and that's expansion. Everything's bigger, everything's magnified on a Thursday. Your desire for Friday is magnified on Thursday. It's like, oh God, one more day and I can have a day off. It's one of those things. But anyway, Mercury retrograde, of course, is still in effect. But again, as I've been talking about this, be aware of all the usuals, unsuspected things, coming up, things you don't foresee. But really, it's a loosening of communication, and so you can restructure perception. Perception is also part of that. Anything interactive, anything air element related. That's why they say don't sign contracts or buy electronics or anything like that, because maybe the electronics might not work as well. The contracts may not really reflect what you want, that kind of thing. Maybe you missed something. So it's just one of those things where things start coming apart air-wise, and that's a good thing. It's time to restructure. So turn it around. Don't succumb to it. Don't be a victim to it. Turn it around. Take a look at your life. See the areas. We're seeing a lot of that right now. Stuff in the 12th house where you're taking another look at things. And I just think that's the message here to prepare us for this whole cosmic event this year of rebuilding and restructuring everything with the cosmic builder energy, because the nasty stuff has lasted long enough. It's got to stop. It's unsustainable, and it hurts people so badly that all you have is ego in play. There's no spirit. We can't have that because we're spirit. So we get forgetful, we get full of the other thing, the ego, and it's not a good thing. So anyway, Moon, 11th house Capricorn, same as yesterday, take care of routine things. But we're also, throughout the whole thing, we're reassessing relationships or the foundations of them. Conjunct Saturn, that's new, established new patterns today. Sun, 12th house Pisces, still, again, time for self-reflection. See, there's that 12th house. We're seeing a lot, everything's either in Pisces or Capricorn. A lot of it's in Capricorn. But either way, Capricorn is all about, routine and structure and diligence. And so basically you're doing your due diligence here to try to relook at things and see, am I really going in the direction I want? You're going to find out that you're not. And some things are going to open up here later on in this forecast. Mercury, 12th house Pisces, intuition is high today. Inward focus warranted, especially again today with retrograde in effect. Semi-square with Saturn, again, delays may occur. That's probably going to be in effect for a while because it's still a strong aspect. And again, avoid a narrow focus, learn from the experience. Another path may open, which it's going to, as you will see as we continue. Venus, still first house Aries, improve your appearance, put your best foot forward. Mars is now in the 9th house of Capricorn, expand knowledge and reach for new experiences. Trine Uranus, you're going to have the energy to stimulate new ideas and directions. Keep in mind directions. Square Chiron, new awarenesses take hold. It can challenge everything we believe, which then creates a feeling of instability, with magnified by Mercury retrograde, but it gives you the chance to refocus and to maybe, let go of things that really aren't serving you, that maybe were temporary, and now you need to go and move in another direction. Because here we have something new, a strong opposition between Mars and the North Node suggests that a change in direction is necessary. So it's not just that, oh, I'm going to go do something else. It's that I have to go do something else. So there's that's happening. Jupiter still, 10th house Capricorn, reassess how you spend your time at work. Make careful plans for the future. There's Neptune is kind of dreamy. So you're going to, a sextile between Jupiter and Neptune, it's going to magnify the dreaminess aspect of self. But really what you're feeling is at one with everything. Now, if you're at one with spirit, which you are, then that's fine. And if you're feeling that, that's fine. But if it's one with the ego, or you're being caught up in someone else's flow, well, that's not so good. So be aware of that. Jupiter just makes everything bigger. It magnifies everything. So, having an inner focus is fine. It's just what's it focusing on? And whose flow is it in? Is it in the flow of spirit, or is it in the flow of somebody else? And you don't want it to be in the flow of somebody else. Because here's the thing. Uranus is still first house Taurus, and it's still semi-square Neptune. So we're guarding against the deception or the long-played con. Still a strong aspect right now. Again, go within, allow intuition and higher self to guide. Trine the South Node, there's a trine between the South Node and Uranus. Change happens easily now. Again, new directions will be taken. And but here's the thing, your true purpose may be revealed. Things may come into alignment. Again, we have a 2-2-22 energy today. It's a gateway into refocusing and new beginnings and the cosmic builder, a soul level manifesting experience. Okay. And we're seeing it. It's almost like we've built up to it. Neptune is still in the 12th house in Pisces, so major inner focus, meditation program, trance work, whatever you got to do. But it's a time to discover what truly supports you, what sustains you. There's also a conjunct between Neptune and Lilith, which is a strong one. So, Lilith's our primal nature within, the wild child within, the one that is given to reaction instead of awareness half the time. And so she's, let me grab that card. I'll tell you what it is. I haven't dropped one in a while. Well, it's the High Priestess. So keep that in mind. We'll see if we draw it again. But Lilith is about the primal nature within. And with Neptune, she's going to be a little more, nebulous maybe in that focus, but at the same time, you want to see how the reactive side of self or the ego side of self is informing your decisions in everyday life. And it's also informing the direction you take. And if that's what's informing it, then you need to let it go. You need to put Lilith back into her little Pandora's box and let her stew a bit and think about, how manipulative she just was, trying to get you to do things that aren't good for you. So she doesn't see the long played con because she's doing the long played con, right? So it's like, honey, you're the one doing it. So anyway, I should probably put that over there. I gesture a lot. I'm going to send that tea flying. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get started on the reading, and that's enough of astrology. But I just was excited to look at all of it because of the 2222 energy today. So, cosmic builder extraordinaire. I just think we've been building up to it, and it's amazing. So again, I take the 13th card each time for randomness sake. If you haven't been here before, if you have, thank you so much for coming back. And click subscribe if you haven't. I'd love you to do that. We're going to start with the Queen of Pentacles, though. One of my favorite queens. I love her throne. It's so earthy. Queens are authority, but they're female, not the male authority. And, they can be out of sorts when they're ill-dignified, but if not, then, queens are usually the power behind the throne. And they're the ones that are guiding the king in the right direction. So if he's not going in the direction, then he's not listening to his queen because he doesn't know what that is without her. And here we're going to leave things that no longer serve, emotions that no longer serve or have guided us long enough, and now we're ready for more challenges. And the 8. Remember I said that if we were to combine things together to create an 8 energy out of all that, then out of the date today, the numerology, then we will be looking at, a higher self type of a leadership, awareness of the greater picture, more of the collective side of self and awareness of that, and being comfortable functioning within that. That's really what the 8 is. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. Well, we have no major arcana cards. We don't need to, do we, though? We have the numerology. It's powerful enough. We have the 7 of Swords, leveling the playing field. Okay. Let me tie the shawl on here so it doesn't get in my way when I'm shuffling and things. Okay. So I don't think I'm going to use a focal point here. I think we're just going to have the cosmic builder energy be the focal point of the reading. And then we'll just use the cards as I'm not sure where I'm going to put the Queen. Maybe I will put her in the center. So 7 and 8 is 15, so that's a 6 energy, that's higher self, informing the Queen. She's so reflective here. This is the Pentacles is reflective of the earth element. So it's a reflective presence, reflective, passive type of energy. Cups is also passive. Swords is active. But she sits in her garden. You see the roses around her, above her head. Little archway. She's reflecting on all she has. You see the abundance around her. I don't know if those are just alabaster mountains or if those are snowy mountains. But you can see the winged sun on her. It looks like a winged sun, doesn't it? With the wings kind of in flight. Is that what I'm seeing? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what that is on top of her crown. I don't think I've ever seen it written anywhere either. Maybe I'll check one of the Hermetic tarot people. They might know. But it almost looks like a winged sun in flight. And if so, if that's what that is, then that's healing. And it would make sense. It would align well with who she is. You know, she's the Earth Mother. She's like the Empress in the major arcana. She's somebody who's quiet and reflective. She's gracious. She's conscientious. She's aware. She's aware of how the foundation affects her in her life. And it's possible that what the Queen needs to do now is to help the world heal. With the cosmic builder, we're talking collective consciousness, so she's here to help the collective consciousness heal by letting go of things that no longer serve, giving people the power and understanding to know when emotions have either gotten away from us. Now we've reset them in order, haven't we? We've looked at them, we've put them in their proper place, and we're moving on. You can see, too, that he's moving uphill, isn't he? I mean, it's not much. You know, you can see some rocks in his way, some boulders in his way. He's going to have to go around them. You also see the idea of challenge with the rising rocks out of the water. So what we're heading into might be difficult, but it's necessary. The change is necessary. Change is not always easy. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you just fall right into it, don't you? And really, we can. That's really the truth of it. Change is actually easy if we just allow. But what do? Instead, we resist, you know. But maybe one of the ways that we've been able to let go of the emotions that no longer serve is because either we've been heard or we've been able to level the playing field and to come back into some kind of balance within. You know, when we feel that we're not heard by authority, and that's kind of what's going on in this card, and I'll tell you why. You see the tents in the background. You see over here you have people, and it looks like they're in battle or something, or they're being led to battle because someone's raising a sword, looks like. There's more tents over here. So they basically, the troops are there, the soldiers are there, the king's men are there, and they're getting ready to attack the town. There's a demarcation line here that we see in many cards in the tarot deck, particularly in the Rider-Waite. And how I've always interpreted that is this and that was that, or this is now and that was then. There's a demarcation line between this man and what's going on in the background. And what's going on in the background is from wealth and authority and control and the king, right? Power. But this man, he's just from the town, and he's come in there while they haven't been looking. They've taken the eye off the ball because they're so arrogant, so sure of their own power that they don't understand that things are happening to level that playing field. But the townspeople have gotten together and they've sent this guy out, you see, and he's collected some of their battle strategy, hasn't he? Because, you know, he's not in battle attire. He's just a guy that lives in the town, right? Maybe he went there and maybe he was, you know, infiltrating, maybe. Maybe he was serving them or something. But then lo and behold, that's not who he is. Instead, he's somebody that's trying to re-strategize to level the playing field for the people that are about to get attacked. So We level the playing field with our emotions by letting go of things that no longer serve, that are influencing us in a way that really is not helping us, right? And then we gain a little bit different strategy for the future. So even though the road ahead might be rocky, even though there might be challenges that we face, maybe emotionally we're not sure, but yet we know we have to. We're just not sure of the future. So there might be a little fear involved. Certainly a little bit of fear involved here. He's hoping nobody notices that he's stealing. But without taking more, you see, he's left 2, but without taking more, how do people that are disadvantaged in the situation, how do they level that playing field if they don't know the battle strategy? At least if they know what's coming, they might be able to do something to ward it off, right? To fight back. But if you don't even know that it's coming, you can do nothing with intention. You only react at that point, see? So let's see what the rune has to say, though. I don't think we need another card. Well, you know what? Let's do another card. I think we do. But let's focus the attention right now for this card on what are we going to build from this? You know, the Queen is basically letting us know that, and remember, I dropped the High Priestess on the floor, so remember that. We're to use our intuition. We're to use our inner awareness of truth, of spirit, you know, not ego-based, creation-based, so that we understand what's going on, and we know. We don't need to be told. But at the same time, you know, the Queen is right. We have to let go of the erratic emotions that have gotten us caught up in things that aren't even remotely true, and level the playing field and start listening, start learning what the truth is, and find a balance there to where you use your inner awareness, the water element, the Suit of Cups, to know when what someone is telling you, when the message you're hearing is true, even if you don't want it to be. You know, that's another thing that's going on right now. We might not want it to be, but yet it is. And so you have to have the quiet resolve of the Queen to understand that if we expect to be in abundance, we have to let this chaos go. And the delusion, and like what they're saying here with Uranus, semi-square Neptune, guard against deception or the long-played con. You know, the whole country's being conned right now. We got to get rid of that. It's not helping anything. Justice. 11th card of the major arcana, perfect on this 22 day, this gateway into cosmic builder and energy and creating something new and soul manifestation. We're going to do it from the standpoint of justice. Again, bringing things back into balance, making everything fair, making things be right for everybody, instead of simply having it so completely weighted on one individual, the king. Well, we didn't probably need to do a 4th card, but I'm so glad we did, because, you know, between the 11 energy and the 22 energy, you know, the 11 is a master number for illumination. Again, it's, you know, we have to go forward in clarity and in balance, balancing emotions with intellect, not letting one outshine the other. Sometimes, you know, we can become too rational. Well, here we have Rado, perfect rune for today. 5th rune of the Elder Futhark, denotes change, but it also denotes harmonious and integrated movement with others. Think rider and horse. Boy, if that's not integrated, lots of interesting things can happen, can it? Well, there's Rado. You can get bucked off. Now let's look at what Rado's comprised of. We have Isa, Laguz, Vunyo, and I'm going to show all this to you. Kenes, 3 times, not just twice. Isa, the 11th rune of the Elder Futhark, aligning with justice and alignment in source presence, bringing all things into balance. Lagus, flow, another water element rune. Isa is as well. Vunyo is about fellowship and joy. Kenas, of course, is the torch and the light of spirit in all directions, 3 different directions there, inward, outward, below. So you can see that this is the energy to come together in rhythmic movement with other people, with integration and in harmony. So I think that that's what this whole cosmic builder is about. This builder energy is about realignment and recreating the world that we were supposed to live in. The one we're in right now, we weren't supposed to live in this. In fact, none of this stuff, the last couple thousand years of our awareness really wasn't supposed to happen that way. We were supposed to have far more control over who we are and you know, our spirit. And we were not supposed to be in such rigid groupings where, you know, because what it did is it created this us versus them experience when all there really is us. So to have things come to this place now, especially today with this Cosmic Builder Energy Day, in this Cosmic Builder Energy Year, it's exciting because you don't know what's going to happen, although you know if Spirit is driving the ship like it's supposed to be, then, you know, it should be going in a really good place. We're in the time of ascension where the planet is ascending through 4th. I don't think it necessarily stays there. It might go into 5th with the rest of us, but we'll be in 5th. Right now we're in 3rd. We're all transitioning through that. It's part of the reason why there's instability, because I don't think people know quite what to do with how they're feeling these days. And I think when you don't know what to do with how you're feeling, you don't just sit there, you act out, you know, that's sort of what happens. And so I don't know, you know, it was bound to happen, I suppose, given everything that's gone on, you know, in our patriarchal world. But the bottom line is, I think that we're in a position right now where we can change all of that and we can bring ourselves into a better alignment with one another, just a better alignment from within. And once you do that, see, it can't help but affect without, right? The whole as above, so below energetic flow is really the constant effect of our souls constantly projecting into form. Think about it that way for a moment. We don't, look, we're not, it's not like the chicken and the egg, where the chicken plops out the egg and we're the egg. We're still connected to soul because we still are soul. This is an ever-focusing force. Because once that pulls back, the body dies. Once the soul pulls back from the body and says, I'm going to go do something else, there's no reason for the body to even live anymore, so the body dies. That's what happens at the time of death. Soul pulls back, goes somewhere else. You know? It's over. This particular expression, you're done with it. You want to go do something else, right? So there's no death. There's just no real death, only death of the body, only death of the physical illusion that we're in. This world can look any way we want it to. We just have to change how we see it. If we see it through continually seeing it through the eyes of ego, it's not going to be any better. It's going to only get worse. If we start seeing things from the standpoint of spirit, that's when things change. Right now, the geomancy rune I just created is called Pure. We've had that before. It's unstable energy, and it is. We think little boy energy, you know, erratic, going and doing stuff that they shouldn't be, you know, but we've got a passive influence on water and we've got active influences on air, fire, and earth. And so not a lot of wherewithal to establish boundaries. That's been the underlying issue here. In other words, we're easily led and easily influenced by forces that that only have their own best interests at heart. That's what we have. We have an underlying puer energy that is unstable and manipulative and unrestrained and no filter and no boundaries. Very self-driven, very self-focused. That's the underlying structure that needs to change. So whether that's, reflective of, the guy in the White House, or whether that's reflective of just simply how you're living your life, I believe it probably has to do with this now should be the response to it. To put in order all of what you thought and felt and let it go. With Chiron in the position that it's in right now, 12th house Aries, time for healing, but it might not be easy. Woundings are deeply felt right now. And so whatever brought you to this place that you were, where you now realize you need to take a new direction, whatever stuff brought you there, you may feel a lot of wounds surrounding that. Whatever issues that sent you in that direction to begin with could still be there. But if they were issues that were based on information that was wrong, in other words, the long played con was in effect and you thought that it sounded right to you, how do you know? It's not your fault that you believed a con man. It isn't. It's the fault of the con man. We always take on the burden for what someone else does to us, don't we? And the responsibility for it. Oh, well, we should have known. What's wrong with you? You should have known. No. Sometimes, see what con artists do, it's what salespeople do, okay? They have to find the hook. They have to find what you're interested in so they can sell you their product. If you're not already there to buy it, maybe they got to sell it to you. Well, they got to figure out a way to do that. So they got to figure out who you are, and they reach you. It's how we, it's how commercials work on TV. How it gets us to stimulates us to buy stuff. It's the same process. So it's a familiar one, right? It happens behind the scenes. Remember we heard years ago subliminal programming, where there would be frames inserted into videos or TV shows or movies or whatever that would tell you, like in the movies, there'd be a picture of popcorn, but you wouldn't see it. But then suddenly you'd want popcorn. If it came up enough, your brain saw it. You didn't perceive it, but the brain saw it and processed it, and now you got to go get popcorn. Yeah, it's like that. Exactly like that. So that's the thing. If you feel like this is a time where it's time to change, the change is in the direction of rhythmic harmony and motion and integration with other people. We have to get back to that. That's the whole purpose of soul coming in and saying, okay, because what are we getting back to? The collective awareness of the collective consciousness that we all are part of. We don't have this conflict in the astral presence, in the soul presence. We only have it here. When we ascend to greater, dimensions and higher densities, which are actually lighter bodies, the body itself won't exist. We might be able to create one for a moment, but the higher up you get, you can't sustain it for very long. You're astral self now. You're not physical self. And so how you play in this wonderful kingdom is different. You're on the cosmic builder end of things. You're on the trying to get everybody back home aspect of self. And how are we getting back home? It's only, we haven't left. We've just turned our attention from it. That's all we've done. So, shameless plug time. Kind of leads us into, I don't know, I guess this is why I wrote Shifting Perception. Because I talk all the time here about letting go of ego and remembering that you're spirit and acting from that process, right? From that standpoint. How do you do that? How do you shift perception, as it were? I had a bunch of titles, believe me. And it just occurred to me, well, what am I doing? So what am I actually doing here? I'm shifting perception. That's what we're doing. We're shifting it from an ego focus to a spirit focus. Well, how do you do that? You have to remind yourself your spirit. So there's some discussion on what it all is, what I believe this all is, who I think we are, and what all this is. It's basically from an empath's perspective, because empaths are simply some of us I'm one who understands the energetic nature of life. We're more aware of it. We're not as fixated on the physicalness of our experience. We're still more, we didn't let go of it because it's a choice. Some choose to let go of that and just really focus on the tangible side of self and all of these experiences and just really want to process it all that way. And maybe they're choosing to not be quite as aware of spirit when they do it. I don't know why you do that. Probably it's a service to self-focus. So it's a risky one to choose where you let go of spirit. But, you may be there to have a catalytic effect on people so that they learn not to be like you, because that's the effect. It's not to, oh, gee, let's all go be like that person. No. It's letting go of it. Again, the Eight of Cups, letting go of that kind of stuff. Put it in perspective, see it for what it is, let it go. But that's why I wrote the book. And so in it, you'll have some affirmations, but you're also going to have some visualizations that teach you how to deal with difficult energy of this experience, of this human experience, because it's that difficult energy that draws your attention and focus and keeps it away from understanding and remembering that you're spirit and that you have the power to deal with this. But the power is in the awareness of who you are. And so that's what Shifting Perceptions talks about. So there's the shameless plug for the book. There's a link down below the video if you want to check it out. I didn't do it on Amazon this time. I'm not going to do my books on Amazon anymore. I have some on there, but I did a second edition of the first one I did, and I rewrote it, and I've got it over on the same site. Well, it's a publishing platform that I'm using. I'm using Draft to Digital now, and they publish in a variety of places. So you're going to find these things on Apple Books, Barnes and Noble, both of them. Confessions of a Back Porch Herbalist, that goes live on the 25th. But Shifting Perceptions up there now. So Barnes and Noble, Apple Books, Scribd. I'm not sure on. I think maybe Confessions is going to be on Scribd. I'm not sure. There's a couple other lending sites I think that it's on. Tolino, I'm not sure what that is, but it's on that. Confessions is on Rakuten Kobo, is on Kobo. That has not gone live yet on Kobo. Shifting Perception has not, but it's live right now on Barnes and Noble, Apple, and Scribd for sure. Where in a Scribd is a subscription site. I have a Scribd account. If you don't, you should get one. An amazing amount of work is on that site. I do research on that site. I use it for research purposes a lot, especially when I'm looking at, astrology, or I'm looking at the old grimoires. I look a lot of them there. Some of them I just have, but like the Key of Solomon, that kind of old grimoire stuff, that level of stuff. Lots of things on there. So I don't know what it is. I don't remember what I pay every month to be on that. But if you can read it there, why not? You're paying the $8.99 or $8 or whatever it is. I don't remember, whatever it is a month to be on that, and you got access to all these wonderful books to read. So, and not just books. There's audio. There's PDFs. There's all kinds of things on there. So it's a really great site. So I highly recommend Scribd. If you haven't seen it, check it out. And consider joining it. You're not going to regret it. I really don't think you're going to regret it. You're going to, again, have access to scholarship that you wouldn't have necessarily otherwise. So they're over there. And if you want to buy it, great. I'd love you to do that. That'd be awesome. I think that maybe if you saw that, you would maybe understand a little more about what I'm talking about here if you don't already, because I talk about this every single day that I'm on. This is the direction we all have to go. We all have to come back into spiritual alignment with self and with others, and see people as the other side of self, instead of the other. Think the unity, think the circle, think we all live within it. And we cannot any longer not go in the same direction. We're not going to always be happy with one another. We're not going to always like one another. There's going to be things that are irritating, and that's fine. But overall, we have a clear picture of what our purpose is here and where we're going. We might argue about it because, let's face it, if we don't, we're just going to stagnate and nothing will progress. So we got to argue, but we don't need to hate each other, and we don't need to have the division that we have now. So again, make use of this, of today in particular, the 22 energy for the rest of the year, and let's let soul create something new for all of us. Okay? All right. So I will see you on Monday. I'm again, the next 2 weeks are jury duty. I don't know what that's going to look like. And so one way or another, this will go up at the right time, either because I have to do it the night before, or I do a bunch of them this weekend and get them ready. You know, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I have to prepare for that, and just in case I'm not here to do this. So in any event, because I like things to go up about the same time every day. So anyway, have a wonderful weekend. Get outside if you can. You know, it's the time to start pruning trees and getting acquainted with your yard again. If you have, you know, if you're like us and you have a winter, although we really haven't had much of one, but still nothing grows. Well, things are starting to come up now, and my garlic is growing. That's exciting. And we're getting ready to, my husband's pruning trees, and we're going to this weekend add to our chicken flock. We're going to go buy some chicks. And so they're 3 years old now. So it's time to start introducing some new chickens, because some of them are going to stop laying at some point, and or not be laying as much, and those we might just turn loose to wander about the property. It's how I actually prefer it. I don't like to have them penned up, and they do have a really big pen, and we're also going to create a portable one that we can get them in and move them about down here in the compound area, not out in the pasture or anything, but we're going to let them do that, and just to get them exploring other areas of the compound down here. So in any event, that's what we're going to do this weekend is introduce 5 or 6 new chickens into the house. And so, because that's where they'll be on my back porch for a little while till we can take them outside. They'll have to be there for a couple weeks or so, and then we'll start introducing them outside in a caged environment, you know, moving them around like we did before, and like we're going to do with the bigger ones. But they love it when they get out there. They're so excited. We put them in a big dog kennel to take them out, you know, and then we'll just we open the cage once we get it up against where they're going to be, their enclosure. We open the door, and one by one they literally fly out. They look like little quail flying out of their house, you know. That's not what they live in when they're in here, but in the house they live in a big rectangular stock tank. It's a trough for horses and cows and stuff. It's a big one, and they got a lot of room to run around, and all their food and water's in there, and we put little things in there to climb around on and play with and stuff. So anyway, we love our chickens anyhow. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. Be good to yourself, be good to one another, and blessed be.